do I have some good news for all of you Wi-Fi nerds. WinFi by Helge Magnus Keck is getting Aaronia Spectran V6 support because our Wi-Fi scanners needs awesome Spectrum data. And since I am the official WinFi ambassador, the only one, I can do things like this. Well, this is WinFi, but I can also transmit my own face in 3D Waterfall with Spectra data directly from Aaronia. That is pretty cool. But let us look at some real data and not my smug face that is so happy to have Spectrum data inside of WinFi. So let us continue and remove the HTTP block and connect it to the Spectran V6 Eco and see what happens now. And I will go to 2D for this one. Now my face is slowly getting away there. And now we're seeing 2.4 gigahertz. This is in sweep mode, so I'm using the Spectran V6 Eco to sweep from 2.4 to 6.5 gigahertz at the same time. And I'm getting, I can fix the view here a little bit, so we get more of the spectra, a little bit less of the waterfall there. And that means we can see 2.4, that is fine, but we can also look at 5 gigahertz. Maybe if you're lucky, we'll see some radar happening here at channel 124. And we can also look at 6 gigahertz. That is pretty darn awesome. And there is one thing that none of the other Wi-Fi tools have, and that is seeing, you get it, 2.4, 5 and 6 at the same time. Helge has done something really cool here. It's receiving data from 2.4 to 6.5 gigahertz, but he has fixed it so we only see the Wi-Fi frequencies. And that is really awesome. And why this is so awesome, let's see if I can take an iPerf. And do you see what happened here? Yes, that was MLO. How can I verify if my adapter uses 2 links? Well, by having a spectrum analyzer that can look at 2.4, 5 and 6 at the same time and ship that into WinFi or any other tool, and we can clearly see what is happening. And some of the cool things here, instead of looking at RCC, we can look at channel utilization, and boom, we see channel utilization because of this iPerf that is hitting all my neighbors, because I'm so nice. I'm adding my 5 gigahertz there, a little bit down there, that where all my neighbors have their Wi-Fi. So all of their channelization goes up as well. So during this video, my neighbors may have a worse experience, but that's not my fault that the ISP's RRM is not working properly. And WinFi is a great tool to demo and prove why a good RRM on the devices is a great idea, and not just place everything down here in Uni 1 and Uni 2. So this is also cool, but remember we have 3D. So we have 3D of 2.4, 5 and 6 gigahertz in 3D mode. So I'm currently still doing the iPerf, and it's so cool. I really love it. And we have all the sections here to check the settings for blue, green and yellow to change the color here. And I can also do one other thing just to get all of these up. I can connect to a different network there, and I'm going to do a typical, let's say, a speed test, and see where I'm connecting now. So I'm connected here, so I will go to 5 gigahertz and see what is happening. And well, I'm using an 80 megahertz just to I don't know, why not? So we can look at the channelization from networks. If I do continuous speed tests here, you will start to see all the other networks here raising up in channel utilization. We can look below and on the side and everything. But this is cool and all, a little bit too cool, so I don't want to end the video because it's so amazing to look at. But we need to look at what happens if we connect a Spectran V6 Plus. So I'm gonna move I'm gonna show you how I do this. You just need a couple of blocks and a couple of spectrum analyzers, and I will connect V6 Plus. It will get some data here soon. I'm stopping the data. I have not tested the change between two analyzer this quickly. Maybe it will just instantly work, and look, it did. So I'm gonna turn on the reference level a little bit because now it's too green. So let's say and turn on the amplifier, and there, that looks very good. This is a real time. So my computer has a lot of things to do right now with the video and all this kind of stuff. So if it's a little bit laggy, it's because I'm running too much tools on this old computer at once. And I can change the colors here. So I can set the blue end at a little bit lower here. You can set the green end there. And now we have 122 megahertz of IQ that is going to there I fixed it, now it's a little bit better. That is going to the spectrum block to convert it to FFT data and directly being sent. So have you ever seen 2.4 gigahertz in such great details in any of your Wi-Fi tools? I don't think so. And we can look at 5, but there's nothing at 5 yet. But if I change this to 5, maybe I can trigger it to transmit there. So if I had any bigger IQ rate of 245 or 490 on the V6 Plus, we could get a much broader spectrum here to look at real time. But again, if I just change it back to the eco model and resets, it goes back. So that is really good. You saw what I did. I can just change from move the HTTP block back and forth between the spectrum analyzers inside Aaronia. So I'm gonna stop this a little bit now, and I can show you how we do it in the Aaronia RTSA. So I'm gonna delete all the blocks so you can see how little I'm doing to get this working. The thing we need is the V6 Plus or an Eco, and to do real time you need to connect this to real time. Go to the power spectrum, go to main, set the FFT size to 1K, skip Windows to 2 so there's not too much data, and connect the HTTP server there, and that's it. I would highly recommend using the calibration block. If you have an Aaronia antenna, so you can use the calibration calibration from antennas. For example, if I have an antenna that is an Omnilog 3100, you get the calibration data here that is mapped to the FFT data and back to the HTTP server. And you set the reference level, usually set the reference level a little bit below the highest signal that you think you will receive, and that is for the entire filter of the spectrum analyzer. So use a high pass or a band pass filter to only look at Wi-Fi frequencies. If you want the sweep mode, you do pretty much a little bit of the same. You can add a calibration block to this as well, there, and you add the HTTP server there. And for the sweep there, you set 2.4, and you can set it to like 7.125, for example. And you set it there, and you tweak around with bin width, smoothing level, reference level, etc. And this is basically the only thing you need to transmit the data into WinFi. So I hope this video has been as awesome as I think WinFi is. So I'm testing this a lot, and it gets better every hour. Helge is doing an insanely good job. Remember, this is a preview. I don't think everything is ready yet, but the insane progress I've seen is insane. And I'm really happy to be allowed to test all kinds of Wi-Fi tools for everyone that I like. So I will post more videos about WinFi and other Wi-Fi tools as always, and see you in the next one.